What's up, everyone? On our play for this week, the Los Angeles Tours Board has killed the future of E3. It's a shame. New 2D Mario announced at the latest Nintendo Direct. Final Fantasy 60 review roundup is here, and we have our impressions of the game. And we got the latest details from Microsoft the FTC's court case. All this and more in Season 7, Episode 25 of Press X Start Gamers Digest. What's up, everyone? I'm your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka the Bird Killer. Yeah. I am joined by.
Sean MF Ross.
What does the MF stand for?
Small, medium, or large?
It really just depends on the day and the weather, right?
Nah, actually, I have a mini story behind it. My wife went to the gym, saw a dead deer in the road, came back and was like, "Hey, that shit's still there. Let me call animal control." So we call animal control, and the lady's like, "Where's the deer and what size is it? Small, medium, or large?" And for some reason, that just triggered me, and I just was in tears, laughing, crying. And the lady was like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "It sounds like I'm ordering at McDonald's. What do you mean, small, medium, or large?" Like, what the fuck? I was reduced to quivers and tears and giggles. Like it was the funniest thing in the world at the moment. I don't know why.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, well, last up but not least up.
Hey everyone, it's me, Avery.
Nailed it. Press X Star Gamers Digest is a video podcast that condenses the most important gaming news from this past week into an hour-long meal just for you. We are live on YouTube every Sunday at 3 p.m. Today's a little special. The last couple of weeks have been special, but today's also special. On YouTube. I think I said YouTube. Yes, YouTube, because that's where you're watching this on. It's YouTube. Don't forget, you can support us by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and the notification bell. If you are listening, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or podcast services you are tuned in on. And if you want to join in our conversations, you can by joining our Discord at pressxfromqstart.com/Discord. All right. With that being out the way, let us jump into the gaming news. Number one. I'm doing it this time, guys. E3 2024 and 2025 has been canceled, according to the Los Angeles Tourism Board. ESA says no final decision yet. This comes from IGN. I believe this is George Yang. Yes, this is. All right. So, did y'all hear about this? Did you say anything about this? Yeah. So apparently, the LA Tourism Board has said that E3 2024 and 2025 has been canceled. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, are they just saying that from their perspective in terms of ESA hasn't reached out to them? And that's what it kind of seems like. Oh, making music. The weird thing is that, you know, leading up to E3 being canceled this year, there was a lot of ESA and Reed Pop saying like, oh, no, we're going to do the thing. And then like Yves Guillemot was like, yeah, no, I think it's canceled this year kind of thing. And then it turns out to be canceled. So this is just, I think in a vacuum, we would look at this and be like, oh, well, they probably just working off of bad information or something. But at the same time, it's like, this actually might have some credence to it. So what do you guys think about this?
Where would they even hold it if it was to come back?
You know, here's an idea. Washington, D.C.
You know, the DC Convention Center might be big enough. I don't know. Because, I mean, we have the car show there. I don't see why not.
But they would have to fly like a majority of the industry over here because the majority of the industry is on East Side or West Coast versus East Coast.
Oh, yeah, true that. I mean, I don't know. We were never able to go anyway, so it's whatever. I mean,
yeah, it's
games are gonna come out regardless if there's an E3 or not. Man.
Yeah, Avery, what's your feelings on this?
I've done.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, I think for me anyways, in the light of Summer Game Fest being a pretty good event for me, I think like sure, E3, you can take a couple of years off, and by 2026, if this is true, by 2026 we can see what you have and if it's actually going to be worth anything, because you're giving essentially carte blanche to Jeff Keighley and his show to like do pretty much the heavy pushing. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. All right, number 2. Nintendo Direct has happened last week, and they dropped a pretty good number of games. I think the conversation around this being the new games they announced is that this is looking kind of like their sunset lineup for the Switch, and that I
Yeah.
think I believe I'm forgetting his name. Jeff Grubb had mentioned that he sees like probably the end of the year they talk about a Switch 2 or like their next console in the next year. Sometime they release the console. I think on another IGN podcast they were saying like, oh, they might talk about the next console next year and then release it in the fall
I
of
don't
next
see
year.
them revealing anything until next year. They want to give time for the new Super Mario game and all them other shits time to breathe.
Yeah,
I'd say
yeah,
6 months out for Mario or Pikmin being released.
yeah.
Because I mean,
Well,
if you're giving rumblings about the next system, that means they already have another Mario. I'm sure it's in development, ready to go, but
yeah,
that's a very
yeah.
short span in between Mario.
Right. So, let me, Avery, what's your thoughts on the idea of a Switch sequel?
I don't necessarily care unless it's a handheld. Unless it's a home console that doesn't fucking go handheld and can run games at 4K 60 FPS. I have no real
Yeah.
inkling for a new Switch. I haven't touched my Switch to play a new game in over a year. And the only time I do touch my Switch is when I'm going to someone's house to play Smash Brothers, and that's it.
Yeah.
Are you interested in Mario at all?
No, it's a 2D Mario. I got no interest in it.
Oh, I'm copying this joke.
Yeah, so we can actually talk about the Mario games. Hold on, I'm trying to get the trailer up. But yeah, we're not going to go in chronological order of the actual direct because they showed a bunch of games. So we're just going to talk about the biggest and work from there. So as Sean said, Super Mario Wonder. I always switch up those two. Wonder, yes. Super Mario Wonder is the newest 2D Mario game that they have released and shown us. And
so apparently it's not in the new Super Mario Brothers aesthetic, but I can't tell the difference between them. I don't know what was wrong with the new Super Mario Brothers. Like, it didn't bother me that much. I don't see why people had an issue with it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I as a person who is not very much that big into Mario, I have a hard time really parsing the difference between like the different versions, other than if I like look at it and be like, okay, well, Mario's head shape is different here versus here.
So do you have no interest in this one?
No, actually, I think I really like the idea of this. I think for me, the main issue with Mario games, 2D in particular, because we got the I think we got the one on the Wii, I think. Maybe because I remember
Mario
playing
Galaxy?
one. No, the 2D Mario.
Oh, okay. That was
Was it on
another
the
new
Switch?
Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, so played that, and it was fine, but it never really held my interest, mainly because it just kind of felt like I'm just kind of like going through the motions, and like there's nothing really interesting for me in this. Where I think watching this trailer, I like the idea of wonder being an element to it, and like you don't really know what's gonna happen. Like once you take the mushroom, things change. It gets all psychedelic. So that's cool to me. I think this trailer overall was very like delightful to watch in a way. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they
I'm
introduced Mario the elephant version.
yes, yeah. He becomes a elephant, which is some people have been saying that this is actually a first for Mario because generally when he transforms. He just puts on a suit and keeps his like face and like normal aesthetics. But now he's actually
Hmm.
become an elephant in overalls. So we'll see what that means. So yeah, so this is Mario Wonder. The next game was Super Mario RPG remake. I put it. Oh, so Mario Wonder comes out October 20. So a lot of
Hmm.
most of these games are talking about all of these games they were talking about coming out this year. Yeah, Super Mario RPG. Did y'all play Mario RPG?
No. The
Yeah.
first Mario RPG-ish thing I played was Paper Mario on the Wii, and
Okay.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I also didn't play Mario RPG just for the same fact of like it didn't really watching a trailer. It
Yeah.
was never like, oh, this is something I want to play. The next game on our list is Detective Pikachu 2. Or I'm sorry, Detective Pikachu Returns. That's the official title for this. What was your take on this?
I didn't play the first one. I didn't really even pay too much attention to this one.
Yeah.
It did not grab me. I'm not I don't know, maybe if this was like a 15, 20, maybe not even then. I don't know.
So yeah, this one was interesting because I didn't realize that there was that Detective Pikachu there was a one to it. So like this was all very new to
Yeah.
me, and to see that this was a sequel, I was like, oh, okay. Like when I think Detective Pikachu, I think of the movie. I don't think of the game. But
Yeah.
I actually like how this looks. I think this is in a weird way. This feels like a apology for how um Pokemon Sapphire? No, Scarlet and Violet
Yeah.
for
Hmm.
the graphics of that game, and this looks like a really like polished Pokemon kind of story game. So this is cool. Um, am I gonna play it? I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably wait till the reviews to see how good it is. So yeah,
I
that's
mean,
it.
the first one I'm looking now, I got like a roughly about an 8 out of 10,
Oh
4.3 out of 5. But I mean, that's still, nah,
yeah,
ain't
yeah.
for me.
It also it also depends on like because I didn't play the first one. I don't know like what kind of game this is. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
guessing because detective, it's like mystery kind of thing. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Next up we have Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1. Detective Pikachu 2 comes out October 6th. Um, yeah, this Metal Gear Solid Collection. This is cool. Did we not know that this was coming to Switch before?
I didn't know, but I find it
Yeah.
funny that they're getting 15-plus-year-old games. They're getting this in Arkham
Yeah,
Arkham
yeah.
Asylum. Like,
Yeah. Arkham Asylum was a weird, like, okay, all right, that's the thing that's happening. All right, cool, I guess. But yeah, this is just I wouldn't if I were to be into Metal Gear, I wouldn't play it on the Switch. That just doesn't seem like the thing to do.
yeah,
But
hopefully these are coming to other platforms because I never actually got to play Metal Gear Solid 1 past what
mhm,
was in the demo for PS1.
mhm,
So I may or may not check this out if this comes to PS5.
yeah. Oh, okay. All right. We have WarioWare Move It. That comes out November
This
6th.
I am hyped for.
This is your game, right?
The last WarioWare, I didn't even get that because they said it wasn't like a true successor to the old games on like the DS, 3DS, and all that good stuff. But
Yeah.
um, I'm excited to play this. The last one I played, I think, was on the Wii
Okay.
or
Okay.
maybe the Wii U, whatever. But yeah, these are
Yeah.
always good fun.
Yeah, like I've never played a WarioWare game, but every time I hear anyone talk about it, it's usually like, oh, this is actually a really good collection of like party games versus like Nintendo's
Even if
quote
you're just
unquote
playing it by
official
yourself,
party
it
games.
just
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
very quirky. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. That's cool. Avery, does WarioWare do anything for you?
I already could tell you he's not
No.
touching this.
Yeah. All right, and then last up on our list is they just released some new Pikmin 4 details, which talked about the different things you can do with the game. And there's like a competitive multiplayer mode in there as well. Um, that's cool. That's looking like if you love Pikmin, you're gonna love this one. This one. So
Yeah, I'm happy for
what we're
everybody who's
doing.
getting a Pikmin 4. I'm
Yeah.
not really into it, but if
Yeah.
they can get a Pikmin 4, maybe there's hope
Yeah.
for some other games.
Listeners, if you can tell, Nintendo's not really our like main thing, but like I can appreciate them creating
It was
these
a solid showing
special
for
games.
Nintendo if you're a
It
Nintendo
was.
fan, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah.
I'm just not buying my Nintendo Switch to play any multi-platform games. I'm strictly getting it for
They're
Pokemon,
exclusive.
Zelda, Donkey Kong, Mario. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
their bag of stuff.
Yeah. So with that being said, was there any other games that really stuck out to either you from the direct?
Past Mario Wonder and WarioWare Move It. I don't think so.
Okay. Avery?
I did not watch the direct.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that is it for that. Now let's jump to the next thing. Actually, before we do that, hey, you listener, how are you? Doing good? Do us a solid. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and the notification bell. After you do that, do us another solid. Switch over to your podcast, whatever service you're using. Download the podcast if you haven't downloaded it. Subscribe to the podcast if you haven't subscribed to it. Watch it. Listen. No, actually, no. Listen to it because at this point you're listening. So listen. Uh, go to your same podcast service and leave us a review. We'd greatly appreciate that. We need it. Thank you so much. All right. Let us jump into the Final Fantasy 16 review roundup, not wrap up, and our impressions. So, Final Fantasy 16 dropped last week at the time of this recording. It is sitting at a 88 on Metacritic and an 89 on OpenCritic. It is doing very well. Props for that team for putting together a very different Final Fantasy game and it relatively hitting pretty well around the course. There are some people are review bombing it because it's a PlayStation exclusive. And it's like, come on, guys. Like, seriously? What did they say this was going to go to the Xbox? So it's like, people just mad. And for some of those people who are review bombing this, they also
Yeah.
gave Redfall a 10 out of 10. So there you go. That's another thing. Avery, you have been playing, at least from what I suspect, you have played more than both of Sean and myself combined, right?
I believe so.
Okay. How are you enjoying the game?
I like it.
Okay. And you got anything else to say about the game?
Not really beyond it is very much in line with what the Final Fantasy 14 team is capable of putting out. It feels, especially at the part of the game I'm at, very much in line with the Devil May Cry game. At the beginning, it didn't feel like a Devil May Cry game, but at a certain point, it sort of does feel like a Devil May Cry game, and that's to its benefit and its not benefit.
Okay. Sean, how's your feeling on the game?
I don't know if it's my TV or not. I have the brightness cranked up to like 9, 10-ish.
Okay.
And I'm in a, what did I call it? Lost Wing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I feel like I'm walking around in the dark.
Yeah.
Some parts of it feel very dark. I'm playing it late at night, so I'm kind of sleepy playing it, but it is a gripping, interesting story. And I am enjoying the combat. It remains to be seen how this platinum is going to go, but I may platinum this because I don't think there are any missables.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to go do it.
You have to play it twice.
Twice? Okay. For the new game plus. No, but I'm enjoying it so far to the point where I may recommend it to some people. Like I might recommend it to our friend Dason just because it has that Game of Thrones light story feel.
Yeah.
For lack of a better, descriptor to people.
Right. Okay. I'm also been playing it. I have beat the first icon, I guess. Story stuff. Yeah, I've gone through some waves of emotion with this game. When I first started, when I played the demo, I think I talked on the I think I'm pretty sure I talked on the podcast how like I felt like the you're kind of just spamming square a lot, and then you get your
Mm-hmm.
ability, and your ability's on cooldown, and it takes a while for the abilities to come back up, and it's like, oh, this is a single player game. It's like reduce that cooldown time just a little bit.
Then they would have to reduce the power of the move if you just want to
I,
spam those, the potency of them.
I would argue that like the moves are really doing much damage.
They do chunk damage, my guy. What are you talking about?
When you're fighting the
They do
big
chunk
guys,
damage.
when you're fighting the big guys, it's like, anyways, like I think for me right now, I'm at the point where I'm enjoying the game. Like
Mhm,
beating after beating the first icon, that fight, parts of it felt good, other parts of it felt like, man, you're really spamming this like arm grab thing. Like, okay, come on, come on, come on. But it's one of those things where, okay, well, this is just what this character does. And it's also kind of teaching you, like, oh, this is probably gonna be an attack that you get after you beat the character and
mhm,
you get their ability. Yeah. Um, Overall, I think the Game of Thrones sense of it really works, at least for me, to its benefits, because it definitely I don't I don't dislike the Final Fantasy story that they generally
mhm,
use in terms of, yeah. I don't dislike it. I think it's just like, all right, this is it's okay. I do like them intermingling it with the whole Game of Thrones stuff, and like you have your own little ghost, and Clive is obviously Jon Snow. Um, I think the performances I really like. When you first meet Sid, I
mhm.
I thought something was wrong with my TV because his voice was like so deep, and I was like, "Oh, what the? What's going on? Like, what's
My man got
happening?"
that Barry White.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, "Wait, is something off with my sound? Like, why does it sound like this?" But like, obviously, I checked my sounds and everything was okay. And the more he talked, the more I got used to it. And like, I really like his character. Um, Clive, I think
Did
there. I
his voice
think.
make you want to throw your panties at the TV?
I mean, almost, but I was wearing them, so I couldn't, take them off and throw them. So just couldn't do it.
Amateur.
But yeah, I think Clive as a character, I still need, of course, I'm at the beginning of the game, so we're still kind of getting his, story. But yeah, I think right now Sid is my favorite character, and the
Mm,
actual particle effects in this game is, I'd probably say
magnificent.
they have like the best particle system in the industry right now. Because I
Mm.
can't, yeah, because I don't, yeah, nothing competes with like how they just do their like shiny stuff. But I think,
Maybe Returnal, but yeah, I played that.
oh, okay. Okay.
And I see a lot of places saying that Sid's kind of stole the show of this game.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I can see. I mean, but they just Clive just then I don't know. That gets into the whole idea of like Clyde being sort of a silent protagonist in a way, but like he does
Hmm.
talk, but he's not Link, where Link doesn't really say
Yeah.
anything. He just plays charades. But yeah, and then again, like it's also where I'm at and like what's gonna happen in the future. In terms of the combat, because I'm not that big of a fan of Devil May Cry's combat, and this is like pulled from Devil May
Hmm.
Cry, like that's something that I have to balance with and not like. I don't see that combat as a detriment. I just see it as like, okay, well, this is just I have to get used to what does the game want me to do versus what I want to do. So that's
Yeah.
where I'm like, okay, well, this circle forward dash thing is obviously useful to get around some attacks to get close to people, all that stuff. So that stuff is that's what I'm learning from the game. So I'm having a good time. The issue is I need to beat this before Armor Core, because Armor Core.
You
So
got 2 months, right?
is it? What is this?
Armor
Oh yeah,
Core
I
come
guess
out in
yeah, yeah.
August.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah,
Let
that's
me
pretty.
check my fantasy league to see when it comes out. Yeah, August 25th. Oh shit, 2 months exactly.
Oh, oh, okay. All right. Oh, that's fine. I thought it was like early August. Okay, cool. That works. That's totally fine. So yeah, overall, we're pretty much enjoying this game. The one thing, the big negative that a lot of people have been talking about, and I have, we everyone witnessed it within the first like 20 minutes of playing this game, are the side quests.
Mhm.
They're a little ridiculous. Like the first side is, it's kind of a spoiler, but it's not really a spoiler because it's really like at the very beginning of the game. Like one of the side quests is go pick up some wood, and I was like, oh, I guess I got to go outside and like cut down some trees or something. And then it's like, no, you just go across and go to another like room and just collect the wood and bring it over. I'm just like,
I mean, that's a fine little
all right, man.
side quest. Everything doesn't need you to go find Carmen San Diego. I mean, it's just a little thing to introduce you to the, you know, new systems for new players.
But there was nothing new. You just hold X. Like you've been holding X already. So it's just like, okay, it's one of those things where I'm not docking the game a point for it, but it's just like I was literally like, come on, dude, I have armor on. I I am a fucking icon. What are
I
you talking
think you're
about?
thinking too much into it, man. You're
Maybe, but that
you
was
too
like,
good to pick up a bucket and a mop, is what you're telling me.
hey man, if I was Clive, I wouldn't stand for it. Okay, I wouldn't stand for it. I would pull out my
Mm.
sword. All right. Last up for our news, we have so this is a weird one. So Microsoft is in court with the FTC over the Activision Blizzard King deal. And there has been a lot of tweets and like articles and stuff that's been pulled from it. And really and truly, this is probably going to be a bigger story next week when everything is said and done. There's like a bigger picture to everything. So
Mhm.
right now, we're just pulling from some of the headlines so we could talk about it. So one of
Yeah.
the big ones is Sony says it will withhold PS6 information from Activision if the Microsoft deal goes through. So this is interesting because this is the same PlayStation that also said they fear Microsoft releasing a um I'll say compromise build of Call of Duty where there are certain bugs and stuff that would make the Xbox version look better than the PlayStation. And then they turn around and say something like this. It's just like you're really like just trying to like what
I mean, at this point, they're using just kind of customized shit from, what was it, Nvidia?
who are
All they
they? Who you
have to do
talking
is
about?
Sony and Microsoft. I think it's
Okay.
just
You mean
they
their
both have
actual yeah.
similar chip architecture with with some exceptions. It shouldn't be hard for them to just set a target, a spec target, and give that to Activision.
Hey, I mean,
Granted,
yeah.
it'd be more optimized if they had actual access to the hardware. But I mean, I understand not wanting to give your upcoming hardware specs to your competition. Granted, allegedly, Microsoft did that so Sony could get the MLB The Show running nicely on the Xbox Series. I don't know. It's just a weird. This is a weird court proceedings.
Yeah, it definitely feels like, whatever we have to say at this point to get this thing to not happen. Um, I I don't believe that this will be I don't believe that Sony will actually hold up to this if the deal goes through. I think Call of Duty makes too much money for them to put themselves in a compromising position to be like, oh yeah, like we are the next game that releases on PlayStation 6 will not be the best that it can, and Xbox's version will be the best that it can. And like the minute people start doing the comparison between the two games, and it's just like, oh yeah, this performance thing is just kind of bad on PlayStation, and it's works great on Xbox. It's going to be like, oh my god, Xbox, they bought Activision and they just made the PlayStation version bad or whatever, and it's just like, no, it's PlayStation didn't give them the dev kits. PlayStation said they weren't gonna give them the dev kits, and didn't give them the dev kits, but now the version of Call of Duty on PlayStation is not great. So
What is
I
not great in this day and age, though?
I think
We're no
it's real.
longer in the PS1 and 64 Xbox One era.
I think it's really hard to see in this case because this Activision deal would be the first of its kind where I mean, I guess the like on the the whole Minecraft thing, but yeah, it's really tough this because of course we're just extrapolating off of these details into the future,
Mm-hmm.
but it is like because I don't think the Final Fantasy 13. I don't remember if there was an issue between the PlayStation and Xbox version.
As long as there isn't tearing and popping and ridiculous frame drops to where the game feels like it's freezing. Like people are crying for 460, 4K 60 FPS, and I bet you half the people who have a PS5 aren't even like taking advantage fully of all the capabilities of the PS5 or the Xbox Series S.
That's true. I mean, that's definitely a possibility. I'm
They
I'm
don't have
looking at it.
their picture calibrated and all this shit
Yeah,
and
yeah.
certain settings turn it like
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm looking at it more on the performance side. Like Call of Duty would be optimized, well, better optimized for Xbox and PlayStation because Activision just doesn't have the dev kits to do that optimization. And I think something like that, especially when Call of Duty is such like a Twitch shooter, like I
Mhm.
think that could hurt PlayStation in the long run because people are like, oh, we're actually going to use Xbox because it's a more stable build, or like there's less frame drops or whatever. And even if it drops by like, I don't know, some stupid like 5 frames or something, you know, people look at that. So the next thing, Avery, you got anything to say about this?
I think you're underestimating the cyclical nature of Call of Duty. If one version of Call of Duty is quote unquote unoptimized for PlayStation, unless Microsoft has changed the entire structure of Call of Duty, the next Call of Duty, which will then have PlayStation 6 dev kits because they're only withholding it just so Microsoft doesn't get the secrets to their machine, will then be able to be optimized and everything will be fine.
Within the next release.
Yeah. And the Call of Duty
Yeah.
audience will 100% just keep buying the same next game in the franchise, regardless of how much they cry about it.
Wait, I don't understand. I'm missing your train of thought. So you're saying
He's saying if the PS5 version was quote unquote worse than the
No,
Xbox
I'm not. The
PS6.
PS6.
mhm.
If the PS6 version was quote unquote less optimized than the next Xbox version, people would bitch about it, but a lot of people don't vote with their money regardless. They go online to bitch.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I mean, we always say we're against microtransactions and all that crap. They're still making money hand over fist, year over year to where they're implementing more. People just like to talk.
Mhm.
I think is what Avery's saying. They're gonna buy it regardless.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I could definitely see that. I could see that
People
being the case.
people buy what systems their friends have, and if you're already in the ecosystem, they're gonna stick with where they're at.
True. I mean, that's a good, not good, but like that's a possibility. Yeah, I get that. All right. Microsoft says Xbox has been losing the console war since 2001.
No, no,
2001,
no. Read,
my
read,
bad.
read the quote. Read what Microsoft said.
Oh, okay. I mean, so this is a Kotaku article. This is by Levi Winslow. Where is that quote? Where's that quote? Where's that? Okay. Nope, that's not it. Where's that quote? Okay. Xbox has been losing the console war, and its rivals are positioned to continue to dominate, including by leveraging exclusive content. Is that the quote you're talking about?
Oh no, I wanted to quote where I mean, you know what? That might have not even been directly from Microsoft, but they said they're getting PlayStation has been beating the brakes off of them since 2001.
Oh, I think was that an article? Did they actually say that? Did Phil Spencer
I
say
read that in
that?
the article verbatim somewhere.
Oh no. Phil. Yeah, so this is a weird one. Um this is a weird one to me because of course Xbox has to um minimize their wins to really make it look like Activision Blizzard, this whole
Mhm.
deal is like vital to their survival. So for them to say that they've been losing since 2001, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. But you're like, wait, Xbox 360 was dominant. I mean, yeah, PlayStation 3 caught up at the end, but like for most of that generation, it was dominant.
Let's clarify that. First of all, the quote came from Kotaku. That was just me being silly. It said the Xbox manufacturer told the FTC that Nintendo and Sony are beating the brakes off his console, but Xbox 360 was only dominant in the US. Worldwide, it was,
Oh, okay.
you know,
Yeah.
it
Okay,
just
that
took
makes
a
sense.
while for Sony to catch up in the US. It was
Yeah.
never, you know,
Okay.
that
Yeah,
popular
okay.
worldwide.
Yeah. That makes more sense. I get that. Yeah.
Mind you, I
Looks
had
like
one. I had one. I did enjoy my Xbox 360, but
yeah, yeah.
I didn't need it because I didn't play anything exclusive on there. I just got it because someone told me they're going to buy me a PS3 and they didn't follow through. But I never bought Gears of War, never bought Halo
Yeah.
or Fable.
Was that your like Call
I
of Duty
think,
machine?
yeah, I think I played Forza just because it came, in a bundle. I got Forza and Marvel Ultimate Alliance or something like that,
Mhm.
whatever it was,
Mhm.
that I never even finished. Yeah, that was my COD machine and indie machine and what have you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, like I never got a 360. I got an Xbox, the original Xbox. I got that for Halo, Phantom Crash for those who know what Phantom Crash is, and Jet Set Radio Future. That was it. So yeah. So yeah, with that context, like okay, that makes sense that they have been losing since 2001. But keep trying, keep trying. All right, Microsoft acquired Bethesda after hearing Starfield would be an exclusive to PlayStation. This comes from Verge. So this is interesting. So essentially, what happened was Microsoft got word that Starfield was going to be exclusive to PlayStation, and they decided to step in front of that by buying the whole studio. Like, all right, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, so this is I think I joke about it, but I think
Hmm.
this is like okay, so to block this deal, you just literally money bagged the whole studio and just bought the studio. Like this is a
Why
meme.
not just offer more money to the studio?
Yeah, like also offer a better exclusive deal. Yeah, so it's like instead of that, we're just gonna buy the whole studio so PlayStation doesn't get access to any of the games unless they deem so. I think this is the weird one. This is just like okay, this is definitely. Go
And
ahead, IP.
yeah, I've said this before, but they can't. If I'm guessing right, the Starfield exclusivity talks were happening when Microsoft was working with, had already in the midst of Game Pass, and Game Pass is a subscription model that does not allow them to do high caliber AAA exclusive deals like PlayStation does.
Mm,
Because not only would the game not be on PlayStation and not making money on PlayStation, you're putting it on your you you can't have it exclusive on your platform and then not put it on Game Pass, which means at the end of the deal, it's not generating the type of revenue that probably Bethesda wants, which means the price tag
Mhm.
on it would be probably way more money than what PlayStation offered.
yeah, yeah, that's a good point.
So at that point, just buy the studio.
Right,
I can
right,
guess.
yeah, yeah. All right, and the last little tidbit that we have is that Activision reportedly wanted a better revenue split before Call of Duty would come to Xbox Series X/S. That's from Windows Central. So this is one of those things where I believe Sarah Bond was talking about this, and she had basically said that at the time of the deal, they accepted this revenue split, even though they were going to buy the studio. So this is one of the things like, all right, so actually, the revenue split that Activision was asking for was the same split that they had with PlayStation.
Mhm.
So it seems that Xbox had a different, probably lower value split for Activision, essentially. So yeah, this is just another one of those tidbits. So there's a lot of stuff that's gonna happen next week. I don't think. I feel like, is it possible that we can have a solution, not a solution, an answer to this whole bid by this time next week?
No, I think
No.
whatever's going to happen with the FTC is going to happen. The deal isn't. I believe the deadline is sometime at the end of June. But if the FTC is going hard on this and they
I
want to
think it's
go hard,
July.
yeah, July. Okay,
Yeah.
then definitely not.
Yeah.
And also if the FTC is going to really go hard with it, and if they decide to actually bring guns to this fight, then they could probably block this, and then that puts Microsoft at a weird point where, yeah, they have 40 something approvals across the entire world, except for in two of their biggest markets, and so
Yeah.
they need to figure something out.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Hey man. Good luck, Microsoft, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. I'm at the point where I just want this to be said and done, so it can make way for other news. You gonna say something, Sean?
No, I think my recording stopped.
Oh no.
I don't know when it did that. Let me see something.
Oh dear. Oh dear. All right. Well,
I
that's
mean,
pretty
he'll
much.
have to use my audio. I guess it's clean this week, but what the hell just happened?
Oh dear. All right, guys. Well, that's been it for us for this week. We hope you enjoyed this episode and much we enjoyed making it. Don't forget, you can like this video, subscribe to the channel, hopefully pray for audio or Sean's audio recording, and hit the notification bell. Do all those things in that order, and hopefully everything will be right on our side and on Sean's side. If you are listening, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or the podcast services you are currently tuned in on. If you want to join our conversations, you can by joining our Discord at pressx2start.com/Discord. That's it. We did it. We did it. We have finished the episode. All right. Well, take care. Be safe. Play games.
What the hell?